Hey, hello, you're starting to talk with Wolf Gorlock, a few minutes riffing on IT and IT security. Today looking at the Sprint breach, which is tied to the Samsung.com website. And what's interesting about that is, there's something we don't oftentimes think about or talk about, but there's this tug of war that happens. And what occurs is security teams are measured by and rewarded reducing risk, and DevOps teams are measured by and rewarded in velocity, right? So on the one hand, you're trying to drive down a number, on the other hand, you're trying to drive up a number. And what drives up velocity is number of commits, number of new features, number of new activities, right? Lines of code in instances being pumped out, CI/CD pipelines. And what drives down risk is really stability, identifying issues, resolving issues. What drives up risk is change, like new code and new features, new functionality. Therein lies the rub. And part of it is that new features and functionality introduce risk, right? You almost need, and this is the tip for you, if you're setting up a DevOps team, you almost need someone to be the team's naysayer, to be the someone in the team to go, that's a great idea, but do you know how that's going to be misused? Every time you have a use case, here's a new feature functionality, right, that we're going to put in and create on the DevOps side, you need an abuse case. Someone says, okay, with that, I would abuse it this way. You need someone in there who is able to say, nice idea about adding a line, for example, but have you considered what's going to happen if they have access to your PIN or can brute force the PINs? And in Samsung.com, that website, the breach that just happened with that website was that feature. It was add a line, right? So you could add a line, and it would ask you a couple different things that were pretty easily guessed, and your PIN. And the PIN is usually 4-digit number, and it's pretty easy to brute force. And it turns out that they didn't have any rate limiting or checking, like, you can guess 3 times. They're like, no, they didn't. So it was not too hard to go through and cycle through all the PINs. And once you got through that, you could pull down a whole bunch of information off the person's main Sprint account. That type of attack is something that, a reasonable curmudgeon, a reasonable naysayer would be able to go, here's how to abuse add a line. I would do these things. So my call is to have those naysayers be part of DevOps teams, part of stand-ups, part of story reviews. And I bet if they were responsible for coming up with abuse cases that could reduce risk while adding changes, we could bridge that divide between those seeking velocity and those seeking stability. Am I crazy? What do you think we should do? Hit me up in comments and social media. Cheers.